Your breakup is an opportunity to literally tell a different story. Use your mindset and tell a different story. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Tabby Talks. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tabby. So today I want to talk about if you are going through a breakup, or if you have gone through a breakup, you can probably validate this. This is an opportunity for you to use your mindset and tell a different story. And this is why. Because literally everything outside of you is a reflection of you. It is a reflection of, and when I say it's a reflection of you, I'm talking about it is a reflection of your past fears, doubts, insecurities, or judgments. It is a reflection of who you were or who you are. It is not a reflection of the way things actually are. So I kind of want to paint this picture a little bit. So basically, everything that we believe, and sometimes we have the quietest beliefs, we don't even know about them, and those ones are the sneakiest, those ones are the hardest. But I'm here to help shine some light on these quiet beliefs and show you why the things happen outside of us and how we can use those to literally get us to see what it was that we were believing about a situation. So very commonly when people start dating, they go through their honeymoon phase, right? You meet somebody, they're fantastic, you love everything about them, they're absolutely perfect, you're probably ready to get married, you're ready to do all these things, and then you go and tell your girlfriends or whatever, and they're all like, oh, it's just the honeymoon phase, which, by the way, is a belief. The honeymoon phase is a belief, okay? So from the beginning, we already have this collective belief amongst our society that says the honeymoon phase doesn't last, right? And there's all this reason as to why. I mean, you can look up so many videos and it'll talk about this and the different phases and stages of a relationship. However, I will tell you that is one of the biggest beliefs that needs to be abolished from your mind, okay? So but we're just going to go with like a traditional, the way things have been, so that I can show you why your breakup is an opportunity to tell a different story. So basically what happens is you get into a relationship, you're going through your honeymoon phase, and then somehow things start popping up. Whether it's you've had an old relationship, you have a belief about how relationships go, you've had bad past experiences, hurts, things like that, trust issues, and what starts to happen is when you kind of start to think, oh, the honeymoon phase is coming to an end, you naturally start having thoughts pop up. Maybe one day your person doesn't respond how you would normally think that they should. And instead of, not thinking anything of it, not creating a story in your head about what this could mean, or creating a bad story about what this could mean, you literally start to have these thoughts like, oh, what if they're talking to somebody else? Or, maybe they're not as interested in me anymore. Or, oh, here we go again. So think back to the beginning when you were in this relationship, and what beliefs did you have? What worries did you have? What fears did you have? What doubts did you have? What insecurities did you have, right? Because then what happens is this person starts to show up in that way, or you start to perceive it that way. So really, they may not be showing up in any particular way, but you could be perceiving that there's been a change, okay? Maybe they don't feel the same way that they used to. But anyways, we're going to keep going. So we're going to name this like Tom and Kathy. Tom and Kathy get together and they're super freaking happy, telling everybody, smiling, flirting, all the things. And then slowly it starts to evolve where maybe Tom is having thoughts about Kathy, or Kathy is, having thoughts about Tom, and they're not consistent because you're still in the honeymoon phase. You're still early. Like, you're still able to get back to, oh no, they're still so wonderful. So now over the course of time, little things come up, they have arguments, slowly the relationship starts to break down. And this is specifically for people who have gone through a breakup or are going through a breakup. And then basically, so we'll say Tom and Kathy get to like the year mark, right? And at the year mark, they've been arguing and blah blah blah, and Tom thinks that Kathy is this and Kathy thinks that Tom is this, and let's say they just get into like a huge fight and then they break up. Okay, so we're gonna try to walk forward in that. So now that they've broken up it can take hours, days, weeks, months, hopefully not years. But what starts to happen is we naturally start to go through the grieving process. And for those of you who don't know, whenever you lose something, whenever there's a change, you have to grieve the loss, okay? And so what happens in this is you go through denial, anger, bargaining, depression, or like I'll say disappointment, and then acceptance. Okay, so you go through those 5 stages of grief. And so in the beginning you might be like, oh no, it's all them, it's totally them, and you're starting to point a finger. You're looking out that everything they did has justified where you're at today, and it's their fault, right? After you get through the anger phase, that's when you oftentimes can self-reflect and go, oh, maybe I overreacted. Like maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe maybe they weren't so bad after all. And this is the point where you really start missing that person. Now, instead of only remembering the bad times that you guys had, now you start to remember all the good times. And a lot of times here, that's when the scales sort of tip back the other way, where it's like all been very unhappy, unpleasant, emotional, intense frustrations, angers, disappointments, hurts, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it starts to kind of shift back the other way, and you're remembering, maybe looking at pictures of them, and you're like remembering how good it felt to be around them, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that you're there, now that you're starting to go, oh, maybe it's me. Now, a couple things could be happening. All right. So I am going to kind of generalize it. And I'd love to hear from you if you are going through a situation, because you have control. You have the power to change your perspective on this, and you will just watch the magic unfold. Because just like the outside situation reflected your fears, doubts, worries, insecurities, your beliefs, it can do the same for you now. So literally changing how you believe, changing how you see that person, giving the meaning of your relationship breakdown, and saying, you know what, this was the best thing that ever happened to us. We are stronger now. We will be stronger now more than ever, or we are stronger now more than ever. This is your opportunity, because once that person is not in your face, you are no longer having all of your other beliefs being triggered, okay? Because you've got distance. You have an opportunity to remember them in a good way. And a lot of times, like, assuming that you guys aren't picking at each other and continuing to perpetuate the wrongdoings and whose fault it was anyways, and you're not going out there and blasting them either on social media, to your friends, to your family, of, oh, they were such a this, or she was such a this, or, oh, did you hear what he or she is doing? Like, stop that, okay? If you want this person, assuming that you actually want to have a relationship with this person, you need to stop. You need to stop telling the old story. You need to stop talking about what happened. You need to start thinking of them and yourself. That is the key here, okay? That you are in a happy relationship with this person. You need to work on your self-concept. So this is an opportunity for you to know your power, for you to know that you are loved, for you to know that you are valuable, for you to know that you are worthy. Because if this person reflected that stuff back to you, that's because you believed it about yourself. You were relying on somebody else to tell you what you were not telling yourself. You were expecting somebody else to give you what you were not giving yourself. And that's usually love, appreciation, things like that. So if you are in a breakup, this is an opportunity for you to get very clear on yourself. This is, work on your self-concept. You get out there, you start, yes, affirming for yourself. I am love. I am special. I am gift. I am the woman or man that I want to be. And then when you think of this person, you think of them on all of the good things that they are. And if you guys can work it out, and you can persist in the state of knowing that they and you are everything you want to be and more, because you're using your mindset, you're using the magic, you're not relying on the outside world, you know they're the person that you desire them to be fully, then when you come back together, you won't go back into the way things were. Because sometimes people will do that. They'll get back together, and then before you know it, the relationship is just repeating the exact same stuff. And why? Because you are repeating the exact same stuff. You are thinking the exact same thoughts that you've always thought, and then you're wondering, why is nothing changing? So I know this helped you today. Drop me a comment, reach out to me, message me, whatever. I'm going to be getting you some links for my contacts soon if I can help you with your situation. I know you're having a great day. Keep shining that light, because the world needs it. Take care.